Hi everyone, my name is Etebenumeh Godwin. I'm a junior backend and full stack developer with a passion for clean code and building real world applications. In this video, I'll walk you through a full stack project I just completed. That is a contact form app using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and .NET Core Web API with a clean back-end architecture. So what does this app do actually? Well, this project allows users to fill out a simple contact form with their name, email, and message. Once it has been submitted, the information is sent from the front end to a C# backend API and saved into an SQL database. It's kind of the form you'd find on a modern website for feedback, support, or lead capture. So let's look at a brief demonstration. So over here, I'm just going to type in Godwin, Godwin, and Etebenumeh. All right, I'm going to fill that out. All right, then I'm going to fill in my password, my email. Sorry, Godwin the Pious at gmail.com. So I've kind of used my name before. I'm going to add something on top. I'm going to add Pious here. All right. Then I'm going to put in a message and just say you are in. Okay, by the time I click this, okay, it's telling me you can see validation is taking place already. There's no at there, so let's put an at there. So let's go again. So you see message received. So here, so you can see the form. When the user submits the form, JavaScript uses the fetch API to send the data to the back end. You can see also that the form does not reload. Everything is handled smoothly on the front end with basic validation and success or error messages. We just saw that now. All right, so I just did a little console log to show you that actually it's working from the front end side. So if you look at this, look at the payload, you'll find out that actually what I did was sent. All right, so the front end recognizes that something happened there. So over now, we'll go over to the back end now and see what's going on in the back end. So let's switch over to the back end. So here's the back end folder. Okay, let's go into the back end and see what's done there. All right, so this is the back end. All right, let's see the working here as well. Let's go to all contacts. All right, let's just try just this endpoint. All right, so let's try it out. Try it out and execute to confirm what we are doing. Okay, you can see, okay, this is Godwin Etebenumeh, but the one we did was Etebenumeh, Godwin, and Pius. Look down here. You can see it with ID 17. You can see Godwin Etebenumeh Pius, Godwin the Pius at gmail.com. You are in. It equally has a timestamp. Okay, so there are other endpoints that are there. All right, we equally have another endpoint I'd love to show you. All right, it has to do with post, that is creating a new data. If you want to create, assume you are doing this for a user admin or something, and you want the person to be able to do it on his own. That is, the admin should be able to fill in some data of the individual that is required. For instance, let's assume I want to fill in data for Paul, Paul, Paul James, Paul James. Let's say his email is Paul, okay, at yahoo.com, and the message is I am Paul. All right, so if you send this from here, an admin can handle this if it's necessary, or however it wants to be done. You can see that it has been created using the posts. All right, so let's go and find out. Let's go into our get all and see what happened there. So let's go into get all. So let's click on this and scroll down and see if Paul. Can you see Paul is now in the database? So I use a clean code architecture, right? I can use a clean code structure, including models for database entity. Let me show you. If you see here, I have models for database entity. I have DTOs. I separated the models from DTO. Models communicate directly with the server and the database, while the DTO is what the user sees. I equally have repositories for data access. I have a repository for the repository layer for data access, and I equally have the services for business logic. Okay, so this makes the code maintainable and follows the separation of concern principle. So separation of concern says that they should be in different layers. For example, this repository pattern. The repository pattern helps me abstract data so that the service doesn't directly talk to the database. So the reason why it's like this because well, we don't want we want the repository to communicate directly with the database, and there's some data that shouldn't be within that fold, within that layer. So we've abstracted it, we placed it in the service layer. So the project was so beautiful. In the service layer, I have the contact message and services and equally the interface for it. And this is a very beautiful project. It makes the back end cleaner, testable, and easy to extend. That is this repository pattern. This project is actually a beautiful one. I didn't even show you the codes. All right, so this is this is the DTO. This is my model. This is my model. It's just taking just a few fields. All right, all are public. And from here, this one communicates with the database directly. Like I said, I use SQL Server. Okay, this is the DT over here that communicates directly with the front end, what the user is going to see. All right, and then I have the repository. I have the repository, of course, the implementation of the interface that communicate directly with the SQL, that communicates directly with the database, and then I have the services where I carry out my business logic. Okay, so it's a beautiful project. I actually had fun doing it. It was actually beautiful, very beautiful for me. I actually learned a lot. One of the things I learned was structuring ASP.NET core applications with a clean with a clean method, with a clean way. I also learned to work with Entity Framework Core and SQL Server. And then what I actually loved about it was that I was able to build a front end and a back end application at the same time. That is a full stack operation using a C Sharp, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I equally got better using Git. It was fun again. It was fun again. So if you want to work on this project already on my LinkedIn my LinkedIn post, I'm going to give you the link, but you can type on the link. Of course, mine is open here. All right, it's going to take a minute to load, but it's open. So you can come over here. Okay, I have this contact form project. The front end and the back end are inside. All right, don't ignore this. It doesn't really mean much. The front end and the back end are inside, so you can just open the back end in your Visual Studio and run it, and then open the front end in your VS Code. I use VS Code for the front end and Visual Studio for the back end, and then run it. And it's actually a light switch and actually very simple and realistic. You should have fun doing it. All right, so I hope this has been a blessing to you. Thank you so much.